Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got some major news in the state of New York. Elise Stefanik has won a hypothetical poll against the very unpopular governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. This is the Manhattan Institute poll that just showed Elise Stefanik defeating not the governor by a tie, like a lot of polls like to seem. No, by 1 point. And I know a lot of people, they say, oh, well, why does that matter? I don't want to say it before I know for sure. I want to believe that Lee Zeldin ended up winning a debate, winning a poll against. Lee Zeldin won a poll. Actually, around the same point. But here's a difference between this poll and this one poll was during what I like to call red response bias or Republican response bias season. And that is obviously October and September, end of September, October. Okay, that's when Republicans participate in these polls. That's why we've seen a much more tighter race in Virginia, New Jersey. We're going to see how those races turn out. But response bias for Democrats are in the springtime and the summertime. Response bias for Republicans are in literally a month before Election Day in October. So what we go from specifically from now all the way to September of 2026 is Democrat response bias. From that period of time, we should be expecting Democrat polls, okay? Good, sizable Democrat polls. This is why we've seen favorable polls for, unpopular governors, like Governor Katie Hobbs, who is defeating Andy Biggs in a close race by, 5 points. You're seeing polls won by, I want to believe, John Alseth in Georgia. So you shouldn't be panicking over that because that is Democrat response bias. Democrats, they'll participate in polls that are a year ahead. They'll participate in polls that for an election that's a year ahead from now. So we shouldn't be really worried. But the fact that we got one poll that shows Elise Stefanik winning during Democrat response bias season is a huge sign. And it's something coincidental about this poll because this happened to take place right after Kathy Hochul endorsed Zoran Mandami. Of course, you had the final rally between with the Zoran Mandami supporters. Zoran Mandami, he rallied far leftists like AOC and Bernie Sanders, and Kathy decided to jump along because apparently she doesn't think she's getting reelected. So much that the crowd ended up booing her. They shouting, tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. According to Kathy Hochul, she thought they were saying, let's go Bills. It's like, let's go Brandon all over again. But this time, it's not really profanity this time. What the heck? But yeah, there's something weird about these Democrats. They'll tell you, they'll pee on your leg and they'll tell you it's raining. This is just how they are. They'll lie to you. No, you're not hearing it correctly. You're hearing let's go Bills. They tell you what you should think, they tell you what you should hear, and they'll tell you what you should see. What are they going to do next? Tell you what you can smell? I don't know. They're like the boss of everything. But yeah, Kathy Hochul is one of those people, and apparently, unlike Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, both from New York, Kathy Hochul jumped on the Zoran Mandami train. You did see recently that Hakeem Jeffries endorsed Zoran Mandami in efforts to save his political career. Kathy Hochul did the same, but you will be surprised. Well, we shouldn't be surprised because Kathy Hochul was all Pikachu face when Zoran refused to endorse her back. Why would you expect such a thing, Kathy? But in regards to Kathy Hochul, you'll see that Elise Stefanik is also doing very well against Antonio Delgado, who is, of course, the lieutenant governor of New York. You'll see here she's defeating Delgado by like 5 points. Now, I take this poll very, very, very lightly because, I mean, like, if you're winning New York by 5 points, you're probably carrying half of New York City and all of upstate New York. This is the realistic expectation. No way. And yeah, it's an uphill climb, but I'm not going to go around and say that Antonio Delgado should be the nominee when you have the perfect Democrat nominee here. I personally am not adding New York into the list of states to pick up. I mean, it would be nice to pick up New York for a governor's seat. But we do recognize that, hey, look, it's not like New Jersey. Here's the difference between New Jersey and New York. New Jersey does not have the biggest city in the country, okay? New Jersey does not have the biggest city in the country. We're talking about the biggest city in the country. 9 million people. And it's an economic hub for the world. And it's just, okay, it's secularly liberal. It's like Europe in America. It's going to be difficult. And, I mean, so Kathy Hochul ran a clumsy campaign in 22. But it can be done. She ended up winning the election by 53 to 12%, like 6-7 points. For New York standards, that's horrible. That is horrible. Like, seriously. You could, obviously, we know the answer. You can do better. And now you're getting polls and signs of a much closer race with, of course, you have Elise Stefanik running. Now, there are going to be the establishment. They're going to come out and they're going to virtue signal. They'll say, oh, well, you can't run a MAGA Republican to win New York. They're not going to vote for her. Yes, they will if they're that desperate. Here's the deal. Yes, we saw half of Zoran Mondami's supporters, not even half, what am I saying? Probably 10% at least, or 9%, single digit, supported Donald Trump. It's that populism. Now, I'm not going to say that, all the liberals and all the far leftists are going to back Elise Stefanik. Absolutely not. They're not going to. If anything, part of them will probably suck it up and go vote for Elise Stefanik just to spite Trump, or they're just going to stay home. Obviously, Zoran Mondami will play a huge role in that, but hey, Kathy Hochul could be challenged by a far leftist herself. Maybe AOC will jump into the governor's race and challenge Hochul. That would be a huge upset, like a huge shock. But because we've been talking about her challenging Chuck Schumer, and that's kind of her designated race was in 2028, which is coming up. But we're talking about the governorship, and it seems obviously the Hochul is, of course, favored to win, because she's the only major candidate here. Antonio Delgado is already in this race, and he's declared a run against his own opponent, his own boss. Imagine this. It's like Adams and Jefferson at it again, but it's in a primary, a state-run primary. And yeah, he's more left-wing, and you can tell. Like, am I right? You can tell that he's more left-wing, more crazy, right? But I don't know. I think that Hochul is going to avoid, I wouldn't say she's going to avoid a close primary. I think the primary is going to be pretty close. Yeah, I mean, Delgado does have the experience. He's a high-profile candidate being the lieutenant governor. The question is, are they going to respect him for turning on the governor, his boss? It's really if Democrats accept that, and seeing that how much Democrats currently disapprove of Kathy Hochul, I would imagine that we don't really care. So you might get a governor Delgado, and when that happens, if that ever happens, you may have a different result. But let's just say Kathy Hochul is a nominee. What is the race going to look like? Now, the idea is that Hochul will, I should say, Stefanik is going to carry all of Lee Zeldin's counties. Okay, so the counties that voted for Lee Zeldin will be carried pretty single-handedly by Elise Stefanik. So, if not even more, because polls are suggesting a tight race. I am predicting a Hochul victory just because it's New York. It's kind of deep. It's just rooted into the ground. You may just cut half of the trunk or half of the tree, but it's, there's parts of the tree that can't be cut because it's just rooted to the ground. It's just really how it is. I know that's a poor analogy, but this is kind of how I describe New York, as just this tree, a stump. You might dig out the stump of the tree to remove it, but it's just stuck into the ground. It's just rooted, just roots deep into the ground. It's just hard to break. But I do believe that we can, maybe we lose by 48%, 40. That would be a political win in my book. To lose by 2 points, that would be a major cold water splash at Kathy Hochul. Yeah, she keeps her job, but she has to live with the fact that, you're breaking records for probably being the most worst New York State governor, and you can't argue with that, because let's be honest. Andrew Cuomo was always controversial, but he always won by double digits. You'll see Cuomo, he's losing Democrat counties. It's mainly his support in New York City. And speaking of Democratic counties, I think it's also very possible that Mark Molinaro, what's her name? Blanking on it. Yeah, Elise Stefanik is going to carry the Molinaro counties also. And so I'm referring to these two, which I originally get this one up here. It was a very close one, but I do believe strongly that county will go for, it could be. It could go the other direction. I don't know. It's becoming more compatible, but let's see the closest county. Yes, it's called Schenectady. Let's just call it Schenectady County. Yeah, just 1.58% for Hochul. And it's not the biggest county. I would imagine a lot of college students live in Schenectady County. It is a popular county. It's a populated county, 150,000 people, but more rural. So it has to be a college community, just right outside the backyard of Albany County. Columbia is also a county. I mean, Zeldin lost this county. He couldn't pick it up. But I think it's very possible that we could pick it up this time around. I have it going for Stefanik. We should probably put in the candidates' names, shall we? Don't you think? Hochul. Stefanik. Yeah, and a little research on Columbia County. I mean, it can be broken. I mean, if there's going to be a massive turnout against Kathy Hochul, polls are suggesting it. The poll we just viewed is indefinitely. Columbia County would indefinitely go for Stefanik. Although we're, like you just saw, if you were paying attention, 56% for Harris. That's something that we kind of have to beat. But with the context of, hey, look, we're dealing with a historically unpopular governor of New York, we could pull it off. And I mean, we can't just make this whole race about winning one county. That's not even going to make a dent in the popular vote. It's always going to be New York City. It's New York City. How much turnout are we going to get in New York City? How many Democrats are going to come out and vote for Kathy Hochul? I'll tell you, no one's excited to go out and vote for Kathy Hochul. No one. They booed her after she endorsed their Lord and Savior, Zoran. and they paid their respects back to her by booing her. I don't care, really. I can care less. Boo her. I'm just saying, I don't want to hear, this is what you signed, that's what you signed up for. So I think she's she's going to win in my book. It's either she's going to lose in the primary, she very well could lose in the primary, or she's going to win. If she wins the primary, she will probably win the general election, but the question is by how much? By how much? That's going to determine her legacy. It's about how much are you going to win the Democratic primary by? If you win it by a little bit, win the general election by. If you win it by a little bit, you're a disgrace. You are terrible. You must be horrible. So really, Kathy Hochul, she needs to be about campaigning in the primary, and that's probably why she's trying to get Mondami. But out of everything, I think Mondami's probably going to go and vote for Delgado. He's more in line with his ideology than she is. So, yeah. So anyway, now a lot of people will say, this is the Zoran Mondami effect, and it very well is, because this poll was taken immediately after the endorsement. And it could be a coincidence. Greg Foreman is saying it's very unlikely. But if this is really the Zoran Mondami effect, it makes me wonder how Zoran is going to make impact in New Jersey, because best believe Mikey Sherrill endorsed Zoran. And we know Zoran's going to be a big problem up here. All right? In the Newark, Hudson County, Bergen County area by Manhattan. Because people go to work over here. So, are they going to respect that endorsement? That's the question. Are they going to... Obviously, most people don't like Zoran Mondami. He is an extremist. So the question is, okay, you endorse this guy. Is that endorsement going to hurt you? Is that endorsement going to hurt you? We know, allegedly, it's hurting Kathy Hochul. So we have best reason to believe that it could hurt Mikey Sherrill. We have seen a very close and competitive race in recent days and recent polls. Not yet a Jack Ciattarelli win in the poll yet, but it's very, very, very close. But who knows? Anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.